General Secretary To Lam affirmed that the party continues to comprehensively and resolutely fight against corruption, negativity, and wastefulness to ensure that the political system is truly clean and strong and generally of the people, by the people, and for the people. During Tuesday's meeting to brief Hanoi's voters on the outcome of the recent National Assembly session, Mr. Lam said the party has outlined several critical tasks, including strengthening the party's leadership and combat power, streamlining the political apparatus, removing institutional bottlenecks, promoting social economic development to improve people's living standards, and reinforcing great national unity. Hanoi voters lauded the success of the National Assembly session, saying lawmakers delved into and decided on many important matters that lay an important political foundation for the operation of the government. President Lương Cường, head of the Central Steering Committee for Judicial Reform, has urged the procuracy sector to further enhance the quality of the enforcement of the right to prosecution and supervision of judicial activities. Speaking at the working session with representatives of the Supreme People's Procuracy in Hanoi on Tuesday, the state leader asked the sector to provide prompt advice and institutionalize the party's policies and guidelines on judicial work. He also urged the sector to coordinate with relevant agencies to study and refine legal regulations regarding the functions, duties, power, responsibilities, scope of operations, and working relationships of people's procuracies with other institutions in the state apparatus to ensure consistency and synchronization. President Cường said it is necessary to learn from global best practices and experience and to adapt them to Vietnam's specific conditions, urging the enhancement of international cooperation in crime prevention and control, and ensuring the sector's role as the coordinating agency for judicial assistance in criminal matters. The Long Thanh International Airport project, the largest of its kind in Vietnam so far, holds significant importance to the social-economic development of the Southeast region and the entire country, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính said during a visit to the construction site on Tuesday. The Prime Minister acknowledged the progress on the project, but pointed out several lingering issues such as the stagnant land clearance rate and the selection of investors for component projects. Underscoring the target of basically completing the project by the end of 2025, Mr. Chính urged maximizing all available resources, including equipment, machinery, manpower, and materials, to ensure the concerted implementation of all components, while intensifying supervision and inspection to secure project quality and safety. The Long Thanh project has total investment of more than $16 billion and is to be implemented in 3 phases. The first phase, which features 1 runway and 1 passenger terminal capable of serving 25 million passengers and 1.2 million tons of cargo per year, is expected to be put into service by 2026. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn on Tuesday concluded his official visit to Singapore and left for an official visit to Japan. During his 3-day trip to Singapore, the top Vietnamese legislator had meetings with President Tharman Shanmugaratnam and Prime Minister Lawrence Wong and held talks with Speaker of the Singaporean Parliament, Se Kien Peng. The two sides affirmed their commitments to intensifying information exchanges and experience sharing in addressing new issues in social-economic development, boosting investment based on the strength of each country to create breakthroughs in emerging areas such as green logistics, data center building, semiconductor chip manufacturing, clean energy, carbon credits, food security, and green finance. To promote substantive cooperation between the two legislatures, Mẫn and Se agreed on the need to effectively implement the cooperation agreement between the two legislative bodies, contributing to advancing the Vietnam-Singapore strategic partnership to new heights. The two sides will increase information and experience exchanges in reforming institutions and legal systems, ensuring macroeconomic stability, expanding foreign relations, and enhancing international integration. The leaders agreed to boost collaboration between parliamentary committees and agencies, as well as between lawmakers, including young and female legislators. Chairman Mẫn urged Singapore to adopt policies that create favorable conditions for Vietnamese businesses, investors, and people living, working, and studying in the country. He also received leaders of major Singaporean corporations investing in Vietnam and met with staff of the Vietnamese embassy and representatives of the Vietnamese community in Singapore. Vietnam aims to save between 8 and 10% of its total energy consumption by 2030, according to a Tuesday workshop held in Da Nang City by the Ministry of Industry and Trade and the Korea International Cooperation Agency to promote investment in energy efficiency in Vietnam's industrial sector. High on the agenda was the Korea-funded project to promote energy saving and efficiency investment in the industrial sector and support Vietnam's Green Growth Action Plan, which will run until next year. Quách Quang Dong, Deputy Director of the Department of Energy Efficiency and Sustainable Development at the Ministry of Industry and Trade, said,
Bên cạnh việc khai thác tối ưu các nguồn sản xuất năng lượng xanh, sạch, thì việc sử dụng năng lượng tiết kiệm.
In addition to making full use of clean and green energy sources, energy saving and efficiency play a crucial role in ensuring national energy security. Vietnam promulgated the law on economical and efficient use of energy in 2010.
The workshop discussed the results of energy audits at enterprises involved in the project, as well as energy savings in the paper and steel industries, among others.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump on Monday issued a stern warning to Hamas, demanding the immediate release of hostages held in Gaza prior to his January 20th inauguration. Writing on his Truth Social platform, Trump stated that if the hostages were not freed before he assumes office as President of the U.S., they would be all hell to pay in the Middle East. Trump added that those responsible will be hit harder than anybody that has been hit in the long and storied history of the United States of America. It is believed that 97 of the 250 Israelis and foreigners abducted by Hamas on October 7, 2023, remain in Gaza, including the bodies of at least 35 confirmed deaths by the Israel's defense forces. A Hamas delegation discussed a ceasefire in Gaza with Egyptian intelligence officials. Two officials from the Palestinian group told AFP on Monday. The ceasefire in Lebanon, which began to take effect last Wednesday, is now on the verge of collapse after the Israeli army carried out airstrikes in Lebanon. It claimed war in response to Hezbollah's ceasefire violation. In a statement, the Israel's defense forces said the Israeli Air Force launched a wave of airstrikes in Lebanon on Monday evening at Hezbollah's operatives, launchers, and facilities. According to the statement, the attacks were a response to Hezbollah's firing 2 mortars at Israel's position in the Mount Dove area near the Lebanon border. The 60-day ceasefire in Lebanon is sponsored by the U.S. Since then, the Israeli army has continued to carry out both air and ground attacks on Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. Analysts fear the ceasefire agreement will be abandoned and unrestrained fighting will resume. On Monday, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said 514 people, including 92 civilians, have been killed since clashes erupted 5 days ago. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed dismay at the escalation of violence in Syria and called for an immediate cessation of the hostilities.